You can normally get it shipped to the RV parks. Different RV parks have different policies and everything. But the hard thing is if it's not like next day Amazon, I'm not totally sure when it's going to get there, and I may or may not be there. Really trying to time it as best you can, and usually it works out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, though. That does sound like a lot of planning.
It is a lot of planning, and I'm not good at planning, so I'm glad my wife's around.
Okay, so has the travel RV lifestyle opened up opportunities, or are you still in the stages where it's still kind of an expense?
It's definitely an expense.
Okay.
I'm hoping to try and pick up some kind of like sponsors and stuff next year to try and make it less of an expense.
Sure.
In drifting, man, it takes a lot.
You should vlog.
There are
by the
very
way.
few people that they're making money off of it.
Even if you
what
just
I mean?
did TikTok like vlogs.
I've been doing some TikTok stuff, and I'm an old man on the inside.
Dude, me too.
You know, so I'm trying to get into it. You know, I think like I heard you guys mention on one of your podcasts about you never know what's gonna blow up. You know what I mean? So I started doing my a few videos of me just working on the car and just the dumb situations I have it. That's just like in the sand in the desert with no like anything, you know, or like going to a junkyard somewhere and pulling a fender or whatever, you know, and I'll like put effort into it and not as much.
And it does shit.
Yeah. And then I had the hood fly up on the car. I got it painted by Mako, and they didn't pin it back, and I didn't think to check the pins again. I checked a picture I took of it as I left. I did have the pins on that car when I dropped it off, and I didn't think that they would open the hood painting. I guess that makes sense that they did. But anyway, they forgot to hand it back. I'm like 10 minutes down the road, new paint job. Bam! It just shatters the windshield and everything. Yeah, so I did like a very short video of like, look at my car. Now it's not good. And that's been like the best.
Yeah.
30,000 people or whatever watched it.
Yeah,
the other one that I like tried hard on, it's like 200.
I think people like the realness of like a, you know, like in the moment you're just videoing. That's what, you know, like when you see two people fighting and they run at each other and then they start dancing. You've seen those videos where it looks like they're going to fight, but actually they know each other and they start doing like some handshake. Those videos always do okay, but they never do as good as the one where the old man turns his phone sideways and watches two people beat the shit out of each other. Right?
Yeah, I think they also just like to see something bad happen.
Yeah, we want to see something bad happen. So that's just the way the human mind
bad
is.
things not keep happening to me for,
No,
you know.
I'm not saying that. I just mean the realness when you shoot. The realness. You should just, at least in my experience, because I think my TikTok is up to like 25,000. Nice. And dude, you can ask him. I am the laziest motherfucker when it comes to shooting content. I am. I just say whatever's on my mind and film whatever's happening. And I could be dead fucking wrong, but because I don't care what anybody thinks, it usually does okay. But like the ones that I'll really put effort into and crop them and short them and make sure that the sizes are the same. And they'll get like 800 likes or something like that. I took a video of my sister driving on my racing sim, 1.4 million views. How the fuck?
That's crazy.
It's the most popular one on my whole channel, and it's my sister. She's just driving. It's not even like on a Seto. It's Forza 4. What the fuck, you know? So like,
that makes no
when
sense
people
to
are
me.
like, "Oh yeah, you should really dive into it and really start thinking about it," I'm always like, just fucking just start filming and posting stuff, dude. Eventually, it'll catch on. You know?
Yeah,
Especially with your life. That's what I was saying. I think you should vlog because I don't know anybody else doing what you're doing.
I
don't know
I'm
another
probably
person.
the only person. It's probably it's a pretty weird thing.
I've never even heard of someone doing it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I made I don't know, probably 10 YouTube videos or something like that, but they took a good bit of effort. But like we were talking about before, I'm not a very like technologically savvy person. It took me way longer than it should have to edit those. And so anyway, I've done those, but I just need to. You're right. I should just do try and do a simple vlog or something. The problem is I'm not a big YouTube person.
Yeah,
and I just don't watch. Like we said, I didn't know who Adam LZ was until he started doing Pro Spec.
Oh, really?
I didn't know who Jimmy Oakes was until I like podcasts because I'm driving a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's easier for me to listen to something than it is to watch it.
Sure.
And I didn't know who Jimmy Oakes was until he was on Adam LZ's podcast. I found that and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Jimmy's the best.
And I met him. He actually, when I crashed my car, he helped me try and find another chassis and stuff. He was super cool. I didn't know him at all. Yeah, but
he's so nice.
And I met him at Riverside, and he remembered everything. He's a really nice guy.
He liked that post I put on the story of there was some dude from England that was like, "Oh, I hate the way people in America say chassis," and I was like, I got to tell you, bud. Respectfully, none of us have cared what anyone thinks about our accent since July 4, 1776. And it has like fucking 100 likes, you know? And I posted it and I was like, in my head when I was posting that, I was like, Dude, I bet all these pro guys just think we're clowns, you know, because we just talk shit, you know, and we're just shooting the shit with people, but we also like will answer comments. Dude, Jimmy Oaks like it. I was like, base Jimmy Oaks.
There you go. There you go. That's pretty funny. I need to watch other people's stuff to get an idea, but I just feel like I'm not that interesting.
I'm this for
a vlog, because I don't do I do a bunch of crazy stuff. I don't do it every day. I don't do it like every week. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just throw stuff up there, and what happens.
Yeah, even if it's just, I mean, once every 2 weeks, once a month.
Yeah.
As long as it's just, if you keep some type of consistency, you'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, if anybody sees any video I do and has an idea, throw it out there. I'll try other stuff.
Okay.
You know, don't make it weird, but
Yeah.
you know, I'll try something.
So you mentioned working in the sand, or like, you know, having to do whatever. What happens if the car breaks? You said it was E36? Mm-hmm. What has broken?
Well, the whole car, first of all. But so I'll start with the biggest thing was crashing the car, and that worked out. And honestly, I've had just really cool people that have helped me when it's been fairly bad. I haven't, fortunately, besides that one big thing, nothing's been super major. So up in New Hampshire, I totaled the car I started with. I had it for a long time, and I would just leading a tandem train, and I just always have to be close to the wall for some reason. And I just had like an inch, like that much less grip than I thought I did, and just went towards the wall. I'm like, well, crap, and tapped the wall. And that brought me around front into the wall, and then the guy behind me just a 350Z just accordioned me into that wall, and I think that's what killed the chassis. But dude, the guys up there at Nedco, which is Northeast Drift Company, or something. Everybody up there was just so cool. They're just trying to help me out, and that was a guy that I was driving with a lot during the day, Orion. He had a shop down in Connecticut. It was about 3 hours away or so. And I just AAA'd my car down there, and he put it up on a lift, and we checked it out and saw the chassis was killed. And I bought his seat time car from him, which is what I have now. Because I tried to find a chassis. I couldn't find one. I mean, I'm from down south, so you get some rust.
Sure.
But when you're shopping for cars up there, people are like, this doesn't have a lot of rust. I'm like, the floorboard's gone. What do you mean it doesn't have a lot of rust? So
they're like desensitized to it almost. Exactly. I feel the same way. I used to sell cars in the north, and they were like that. Doesn't have that much rust. You're like, are you sure, man?
But people up there were just so cool. I was getting some of those guys like texting me pictures of chassis and stuff that I found on Facebook. One guy's a tow truck driver, and he happened to be like passing by somebody that he saw had one, and like on his routes he would like pull over real quick and jump out and like take pictures underneath the car and everything. So that was, I wouldn't have been able to keep going if it wasn't for those guys.
Sure.
So I bought his car from him, and I just had like a little bit better ankle kit and suspension, stuff like that. We stripped the car down and got it caged. His car didn't have a cage in it. My other one did. You kind of need a cage if you do a lot of traveling.
I would imagine that most people want you to have it.
A lot of places you're going to do tan require a decent cage. So guy up there, Norway Nils Fab. I mean, he had like a long list of people, and he was like, dude, you're in a tight spot. You're kind of stuck here. And he like got me in and had that cage done in 2 days.
What a badass.
Like he'd done so many E36s that he just had like a folder of exactly the bends and the measurements and everything. And dude, I brought that car in there. I stripped it down for him. Brought that car in there. He was already bending pipe. He's like, all right, pick it up in 2 days. It's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. I'm like planning in my head, like, there's no way this dude's going to this out in 2 days. Sure enough, man, like halfway through the second day, he's like, come get it.
Damn, what a badass.
It's done. And it was a good cage. She was a lot better than the one I had in my old car. Yeah, so that was a big thing that happened. And then outside of that, it's just been little stuff. With like some cooling issues with that car, it ended up just being like a bubble in the system. But you know, I'm like whole event jacking the car up and stuff, trying to get air out of the system and everything.
Vacuum bleeder on a radiator is the move.
Yeah,
I learned that lesson on I did rear mount on my car. It's in the trunk, and it was like black magic to me, you know. Like I tried to bleed the car like this, then I tried to bleed it like this, then I put it in the air and like this and this and this, and it just never would. Then we put a black Inviter on it. 3 minutes is all the way bled.
And that's how it got fixed. Is I never got it perfect on that event, and somebody told me about a dude, and I brought it over there to him, and he did the hello cat. He did it. and the car was good to go. But besides that, I've been pretty lucky with the car braking, so besides trying to think what else has gone wrong, honestly, not a whole lot. Mostly just body damage.
And you said you just beat it back out and keep going?
Either beat it back out or like pull a fender from a junkyard or something like that and put it on there. I did have a bit of like a tandem collision in Oregon recently, and that like jacked up my front frame rails because I didn't have a bash bar or anything on it. And dude like hooked it up to a truck, and another guy out there was helping me, and I went to my truck and just like yanked it back as straight-ish, and then went back out there. I did their competition without a bumper. I was like, oh man, I'm kind of worried. What if I like go in at this guy in tandem and it screws up the car? I'll stay back. And I know myself. I always tell myself like, don't send it because this is bad timing to send it. But once I'm there, I'm like, I just forget all of it. Yeah, just do it.
I call it the other guy.
Yeah.
You're like driving. You have like a regular. There's a normal version of you, and then as soon as you leave the line, there's like somebody else is like, let's kill them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then I met the guy that I went into. Him and his dad had a shop down close to Sonoma in California, and we're heading that direction anyway. T, if you see this, you're awesome. And T went down there, and he just has this awesome shop just for like fun and helped me get it straightened out. We used a forklift. He has a forklift for some reason, and just like one of those like a Harbor Freight like
slide hammer deals.
Exactly, yeah. Well, no, it's like a jack where you like pressurize it and it's gonna push it.
It's called a port power.
That's what Casey used.
I've used
we pushed it, like set it. We set it up on the forklift, and then just like push the frame rails kind of sort of back into place, and enough that it's like a little janky, but it's good.
Fine.
Yeah. But besides that, let me think.
Do you have a welder in the RV?
No.
Okay.
I don't know how to weld.
What do you do for like regular what do you do for like regular I guess drift car needs, like tires and all this, because you're in an RV, so there's no address to ship stuff to. You just get them shipped to a local shop or anything?
So I now get them shipped. Most people ship them via FedEx or UPS, but most people ship them via FedEx. So I get them delivered to FedEx locations.
Then you go pick them up.
I'm going. I used to get them sent to tracks, and that didn't go well a few times with either the FedEx guy leaving them somewhere he shouldn't have, and the track getting annoyed, even though I would call the track ahead of time to make sure it was okay, and they say yes. And then the FedEx guy would like do something dumb, like leave it in front of the restaurant or something if there's a restaurant there.
Yeah.
And that would be annoying, which I understand. I went to Seattle Evergreen Speedway the day, because I have a day after FD event. So it was the day after FD I was there, and I had tires shipped there. The track knew they were coming. They really had their stuff together, and they just got lost in the FD madness.
Yeah.
I did end up getting them back. The track manager called me like 2 weeks later.
It's like, hey, I got your tires.
Hey, I found your tires. They were like in the bed of someone's truck.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but anyway, after that, I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So I tried to send to like FedEx locations and stuff as best I can.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. I was actually going to ask that question also. I was like, damn, I wonder how he gets his shit shipped to him.
Same thing with parts and everything. It is kind of difficult, but same thing with parts or anything like that, or anything we need, like even just Amazon, like normal house stuff. We'll try to get it shipped. You can normally get it shipped to the RV parks. Different RV parks have different policies and everything. But the hard thing is if it's not like next day Amazon, I'm not totally sure when it's going to get there, and I may or may not be there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of,
It's
you're
risky.
really trying to time it as best you can, and usually it works out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. That does sound like a lot of planning.
It is a lot of planning, and I'm not good at planning, so I'm glad my wife's around.